ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. So by the way you're looking at me, you're wondering, why on God's green earth would she need to bring so much stuff along to an international speech competition? Well, you see, when I leave here tonight, I'm going on a really big trip that I've been planning for a while. And I thought I would use this opportunity to give you a little bit of my insights as to how I think you should pack for your next big trip. So the people in this room that know me well know that I travel extensively in my job. That might mean I'm a professional packer. In fact, it seems like I am always preparing for the next big trip. And I have found that those trips that I take where I pack the lightest, I'm generally the happiest and the most productive. Of course, even a professional can fall down on the job. And it happened to me recently on a trip that I was much anticipating going to Australia. You see, I'd gotten so busy with work and with life that I hadn't taken a whole lot of time to even think about what I should take along. So it's literally the morning that I am leaving, and I am scurrying around the house, and I'm just packing and piling things into any bag I can find. Before it's all said and done, I end up with 2 large roller bags and 3 smaller bags. And in fact, I was in such a hurry to get to the airport, it wasn't until the porter at DIA lifted up one of the big bags and said, "Goodness, ma'am, what's in this thing?" that I thought, that is an excellent question. You know, it's interesting because the Ambien and the red wine made me totally forget about the bags on the 14 hours over there. And I make it through rather woozy through customs in Sydney, and I'm standing in the line for the taxis, and yeah, that's when I started to realize maybe I'd packed some trouble. You see, none of the taxi cabs had a trunk big enough for all of the stuff I had brought. The taxi cab driver looks at me like I am some kind of crazed gypsy lady, shoves me into the taxi and starts piling stuff in around me. So I'm peeking out through my bags and I'm thinking, when I get to the hotel, I probably ought to do an inventory of everything I brought along. So I get to my hotel and I pop open the bags and I start taking everything out. And I pack some beach clothes, makes sense, right? I pack some mountain climbing equipment, can opener, an iron. I had 8 pairs of heels. I had 3 cocktail dresses, just in case things got a little wild. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I brought food to Australia, just in case they didn't have any, right? So I guess, would the plane have gone down on a desert island? I'd have been set. The thing is, I safely made it to Sydney, and now I had 10 days, 4 stops, and 4 more hotels to drag all of this stuff along. So sadly, I'm looking at it and I thought, I really can't leave any of it behind. So for the duration of the trip, I drag the stuff along, and every day that goes by, I think this stuff is useless because you know something? I'm on a business trip. And come to find out, the only mountain climbing I was doing was the rappelling over the mounds of luggage as I got in and out of the taxi cabs. So has anybody else here ever overpacked for a trip? Right. So maybe it was a business trip, vacation, or maybe it was that bigger one. Maybe it's that journey you're taking through life. It's interesting. It's so possible for all of us to start overpacking our bags. If you really start to think about it, when we're going through life, we pack and we pile things in, and our load starts to get heavy. Maybe some of what we're packing along is guilt, or maybe it's resentment. Maybe it's just that we've got some really sad memories. And the thing is as we rush through life, we don't take time to do the assessment, to take things out of our bags. So as we're going through the journey, like it was for me in Australia, the bags get heavier. Journey, it's not quite as much fun. I believe that when we have that opportunity to look into our bags, we need to do an assessment. Am I saving room for something that I'm going to want later? When I was in Australia, there was this kangaroo statue, and I loved it. It was amazing. You know what? There was no room left in my bag to bring it home. So I left my roo behind. And when I got home, I got to thinking, I think we all should have to do TSA baggage check on ourselves. Make sure that there's no hazardous material that we're dragging along. Do the more important assessment. Ask ourselves these important questions. Say, hey, do I really need all of this stuff? Is it really going to serve me well with where I am going? And does it fit me anymore? Really, the hardest question might be, am I willing to leave it behind? So that trip to Australia was very revealing to me. First of all, I realized you absolutely never need rappelling equipment on a business trip. And second of all, I realized I've been dragging along a lot of baggage in my life. I thought, you know, when I get home, I'm going to start unpacking some of those bags. And I'm going to leave some of that stuff permanently behind. So that way I can take along the good memories and I can have room for the next great adventure and really enjoy it. So, when we all get to that place in life and we pop open the bag, and we do an assessment of what's in it, we have to ask ourselves, is this an asset? Or is it just an anchor? Yeah, I don't need this. I'm going to leave this here, and you know what? My bags are empty now, and I'm going to go back, I'm going to get that roux, and my trip is going to be so much lighter, and I'm going to enjoy it so much more. So I hope you all think about this, and most importantly, happy travels. Thank you.